How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael.
I'm Jeffrey,
This is Houston Brothers Gaming News. We are brutally accurate.
and brutally honest.
Today we're going to be doing another top 10 for you guys. And we decided, based on our last one, we would each do our own personal top 5 for this particular list. And this list is the top 10 video game henchmen.
By henchmen, we could mean anything from henchmen to grunts to pretty much anyone who is a generic NPC in the game and whom you have to fight.
Basically, anybody who serves the character at the end. You know, the boss that you will have to fight at the end.
So, we're going to elaborate on the rules a little bit since we kind of didn't do that really good in our first walkthrough, and I'll let my brother take over for that one.
So, for this particular list, we're basing everything off of characters. We're basing these off of games that we've played, and we're basing them off of how tough they are and how much of a challenge they gave us throughout the different parts of the story. So you'll see as we go through some of our picks what, kind of what our criteria, what we mean. And there is only going to be one per franchise, with the exception of if he's picked something from one franchise, I can pick the same franchise, but just not the same people.
For instance, GTA. If I pick a grunt per people from GTA, then my brother can still pick grunts from GTA, but I cannot. So that's pretty much what he means by that, if that clears it up a little more. I know it kind of got confusing last time, but we're learning just as much as you guys are. So, without further ado, I think I will start off with my number 5 pick, which is Team Galactic from Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Needless to say, I thought Team Galactic for me was a little bit more of a challenge than something like Team Aqua, Magma, Team Flare, or Team Rocket. And, obviously at the time of recording this, Pokemon Sun and Moon is not out, so I do not know how tough the grunts are going to be in that game. But Diamond and Pearl and Platinum was always tough for me, and I always hated fighting the grunts. So that's pretty much all I have to say for them. Cyrus was tough, but this is not top 10 toughest bosses. This is top 10 toughest grunts. So moving right along to number 4, I have Fire Emblem Conquest, the HOSHIDAN Warriors, and Prince Roma. I count Prince Roma as a grunt because you do fight him, I think, twice throughout the series before the final battle with him. But I think the reason that Fire Emblem Conquest was tough was because you didn't have the option to train your soldiers like you do on the Revelations path and the Birthright path. You don't have the option to go and train, so it's strictly just going through the story and leveling up any character you can get. And that's not really a good game mechanic. I really would have liked to train my soldiers a bit more to make the final battle a lot more easier. But I understand why they did it. Nor is a country based on, not based all around wealth, or, everybody there is kind of middle to lower class, so they wouldn't have the option to go out and scout some enemies. Number 3 is the DWEMER Ghosts from Morrowind. I think the reason almost every enemy in Morrowind was hard to kill, and I think my brother will agree 100%, are the hitboxes.
Yeah, definitely.
But the DWEMER Ghost, it seems like I got killed more times by the DWEMER Ghosts than any other person, especially looking for that damn cube.
Yeah, the hitboxes in Morrowind, if you've never played Morrowind or you've never seen it, it was good for the time that it was released, but
nowadays it will get you angry.
Exactly.
And I don't know if they based the hit system off of, I don't know what they were doing, but they had to be doing something. Bethesda had to be doing something wrong with those hitboxes. And I know there are mods that fix the hitboxes in Morrowind now, but again, just like with our top 10 bosses from Skyrim, top 10 boxes and Alduin from Skyrim, I kind of feel like we're talking base game and no mods
Yeah.
installed.
Any top 10 list we do regarding video games, unless it specifically is for mods, will be
Mod
base
free.
game vanilla game only for future reference.
So number 2 for me are the Ballers from GTA 5. I don't know why these guys were tough for me. They are just like any other of the henchmen, but for some reason I died more times to the Ballers than I did to anybody else in the game.
Well, I think I have an answer for that one. It's because of the numbers. They have so many people in that one little area, especially in that little cul-de-sac area where you go for one particular mission in the game. They
pretty much just outnumber you.
Exactly. You know, you're outnumbered 10 to 1 in that one mission in the game. I don't exactly remember the name of it. I mean, if you know it, write it down in the comments. But, yeah, you're outnumbered like 10 to 1 where you, Trevor, and Lamar, or Franklin, Trevor, and Lamar are headed to, do something down in that area.
Can't remember the details of the mission right offhand, but I know I died more times in that mission than I have on any other mission in the game. And number 1 is just a personal thing for me, but the dry bones from Super Mario World. I know they appeared in other games, but Super Mario World was the worst for me. And the reason being, I got trapped I got trapped in so many places by dry bones that it just pissed me off, and I just had to include them as number 1. So many cheap deaths were ensued, and so many rage quits did happen. But now I will move it on over to my brother.
Alright, so my top 5 will have feature, like we said at the beginning, I can pick the same franchise as he did, but just not the same teams, as I said in the beginning. So I chose, my number 5 is the Joker Henchman from Batman, from the entire Batman Arkham series. When they were under the leadership of the Joker, they were not tough, but it seemed like once Harley took over after the death of the Joker in the second game, that they became a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Active?
I guess they started to look around more, and they started to actually patrol a little bit better than I think they did in...
I think what we're trying to say here is after the second game, they kind of became the AI became a little more active in searching for Batman. Kind of like Two-Face's henchmen in the first Arkham series. They kind of just became a little more active.
Exactly. My number 4 is the FORSWORN from The Elder Scrolls V. The FORSWORN, in case you haven't played The Elder Scrolls V for some reason, they are the most annoying characters, I think, in The Elder Scrolls in that particular game.
And it's not that they're hard to beat. They're very easy. Their weapons are super weak, especially if you're late in the game. It's just they can come out of nowhere.
It's the same reason with the ballers.
They come in, numbers. Yeah, the numbers. If you're going to raid a FORSWORN camp, make sure you have plenty of potions. Or if you're playing on the PC, just enable God mode. That way you won't die, because there's so many of them, and with their the only real ones are the mages and the hag ravens that are the real trouble.
The Briarhearts are some trouble as well, just depending on how high leveled you are.
I totally forgot about the Briarhearts. But moving right along.
Number 3 is Team Rocket from Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal. Team Rocket, I'm a kid of the 90s. I grew up with Red, Blue, and Yellow.
I guess you could say he's a Gen 1-er.
So, I found Team Rocket to be, I find the originals to always be the best. It's that kind of philosophy for me. Team Rocket in Yellow played a bigger part than I think in any other game. I think really, if my memory serves me correctly, in Red and Blue, they only are in Mountain Moon.
They're in Mountain Moon. Obviously, they're Game Corner. And they're in a couple other places, but not as much as they are in Yellow. I think they're a little more prevalent in yellow than they are in red and blue, or green if you're in Japan.
Yeah. I mean, in Giovanni, I mean, he's the last gym battle, you know, in the original 3. So, I mean, there's that, too. Giovanni is, I think, when, you know, if we do a top 10 bosses, he'd probably be on there.
He will be high on the list. I remember for the recent release of Yellow on the eShop that Giovanni did give me a little more trouble than I was expecting.
So, number 2 is the Soviets from GoldenEye 007. Now, these are the people that you will fight in the bunker when you go to, you know, Siberia. These are the people that, these are mostly the enemies that you're fighting.
With a few exceptional missions, you know, like the mission for the Golden Gun in the original for the N64.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The one for the N64. I'm not talking about the re-release. And the reason I'm talking about the one for the N64 is basically the same reason as the one from Morrowind that my brother said. The hitboxes.
Oh boy. Yep.
I mean, I love Rare games, but Rare's hitboxes for these particular characters were pretty bad.
Yep.
I mean, it was almost, you know, you walk into a room and spray and, you know, spray lead down the entire way. And my number 1 is the Colossi from Shadow of the Colossus. For this particular game, I mean, the Colossi are just, you know, number 1, they're huge, and they're a pain in the ass when you're trying to climb.
Now, this will be a controversial number 1 for him, mainly because a lot of people think that the Colossi are, you know, henchmen or grunts, while other people think that they are actual bosses themselves. So let us know what you think. Do you think they're actual bosses, or do you think they're henchmen? I personally think they're henchmen. That's why me and my brother included them on his part of the list. But
yeah, like I said, let us know what you guys think. What would be your top 10 video game henchmen?
Let us know if you agree or disagree with our picks.
Exactly. We do we do want to hear from you guys. If you guys haven't already, check out our other top 10 list that we did a few weeks ago. Top 10 most cringeworthy bosses. I will put a link to it in the description if you guys want to.
And if you, for some reason, missed E3 and want to know exactly what went on, check out our E3 post-show and our Pokemon Sun and Moon episode. And yes, I do know that there has been more information released on Sun and Moon. If there's a lot more information released before the release of the game, November 18th, over here in America it's November 18th, I don't know about it anywhere else in the world, then we might do another episode, but since there's only 4 months left, I don't see them releasing too much more information about the game.
Exactly.
But if there is a lot more information released, then we might do another episode on it, but...
So we'll put a link to everything that we said in the description, the E3 post-show and Pokemon Sun Moon episode, as well as the top 10 cringeworthy bosses episode. So if you guys want to go watch that, you can. And that's going to do it for this top 10, guys. I'm Michael.
I'm Jeffrey, and we are signing out.